here we are again. Me, you, talking about Doctor Who. Now, I covered Doctor Who Flux pretty extensively. Overall, you could say I had some minor criticisms. Fuck you. Fuck you very much. Yep, that's it. But hey, it's a New Year's special. I'm moderately late to the whole reviewing this episode, so what happened? Was the episode just that good that I needed more time to truly explore its every crevice and nook of its sensual greatness? Well, no. It is better than Flux, well, more competent. However, while Flux was overly complicated, lacking in charm, and featuring way too much plot with very little payoff, Eve of the Daleks is entirely boring. Kind of. In fact, it was boring to the extent that my recorded watch party is basically unusable. It's mostly silence.
Yes, you will. You will.
That quickly escalates as I drink more and more alcohol. It's weird that this episode feels drunk. And yet, I have had enough to not even enjoy it. To substitute for the fact I'm having an awful time. Yeah, it gets pretty silly. I don't remember. I have vague memories of me expressing love for the return of Russell T Davies.
And I miss you. And I love you. Yes.
Me talking to Russell T Davies. And I miss you. And I love you.
No, I'm not drunk, Mommy.
And I'm not drunk watching this. I love you, Russell. Please, Russell. Just come back, Russell. Listen, the footage is mostly not good. I had way too much to drink. So much that I had probably the most painful hangover in my life. Thank you, Chris Chibnall. I'll just send the pain receipt to your soul then. What we do have is an endlessly entertaining, no context highlights reel of that footage. So, play the montage, editor. Watching Doctor Who's been like, I'm so tired. I was promised a funny episode. What happened? Yeah, explain.
You took your time, not even wearing a watch, doing it for show.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. This is awful. The next time trailer better be good, it better be worth 50 minutes of this. That one made a video, but you know, it's there.
I never thought I'd wish for Patinizer.
My name's Jeff. The time is good. What? What?
We got rid of the
The fuck?
TARDIS is like, pranked you, bro. There's a camera there. There's a camera there. There's a camera there.
That was fucking dog shit. This better be a good next time trailer. Come on. Legend of the Sea Devil. That wasn't what?
That was the next time?
That wasn't an next time trailer. That was like a teaser for the title.
Yeah, that was so crazy.
Fuck. And the award goes to the most unusable footage ever. Thanks, Chibnall. Of course, like a broken record, I'm here to critique this episode, and if you're getting a feeling of deja vu like Chibnall keeps making the same mistakes over and over, then you're right, he does. It's literally same old, same old. As such, let's immediately cut to the root cause of these issues. The writing is bad. Well, not just bad, awful. It's flawed in a manner that extends into every other element of the show. The premise of the Doctor being trapped in a storage facility time loop with some Daleks is interesting. In fact, the first 10 minutes of the Doctor and friends discovering the situation they've found themselves in works. I can't believe that just left my mouth. It's not like Flux, where it's incomprehensible. Eve of the Daleks very quickly establishes what's going on and the goal. Aisling B even brings some charisma to the poorly written dialogue. And yes, I know, the irony of me talking about something poorly written. It's just that then we have moments beyond the premise, like where Dan runs circles around a Dalek,
How welcome is that? Hey, I'll be calling you, do you manage it? Daleks do not have managers.
having a grand old laugh that's so incredibly lame?
Took you long enough.
Or Nick ducking at the last second like fucking Bugs Bunny, tricking the Daleks into shooting themselves. Furthermore, Sarah and Nick's story is as cliche as you'd expect. Near-death experience makes them recognize and appreciate each other.
Especially not because of anything that I may or may not have said or made you feel or whatever.
Very original. Thumbs up. Once again, the premise isn't bad. The Doctor is trapped head-to-head with Daleks in a 4D chess game, and the biggest brain wins. But all they do is fart us around. There's no setup or payoff beyond, "Hey Doctor, this looks pretty hazardous. With some fire, it might explode."
If I set fire to this, will it have explosive and potentially devastating consequences? And the answer is yes.
Okay, here's the plan. Let's all work together.
We learn to trust. We help each other. We get it wrong again. We improve together, then ultimately succeed.
Yay! And maybe if we try hard enough, we can escape. But get this, the Daleks can learn. What are we gonna do? Oh, you just do the opposite first.
Bingo. Decoy plan. You know the plan. Do the opposite.
Of course. Then, with very little stakes, they execute the final plan, and that's it. Now, a fairly plain episode with a weak plot can be redeemed, with a little charm or characterization, but this is Chibnall we're talking about, so of course there's nothing. Cause and effect don't exist. Newton was a hack. Moving on, let's talk about the writing. Is bad. Well, not just bad, awful. It's flawed in a manner that extends into every other element of the show. And if you think I'm done talking about the writing, then you, sir, have not watched a Chibnall episode more than once. Now, Doctor Who has had plenty of weak episodes over the years, specifically when it comes to the actual beat-to-beat plot. I particularly would like to talk about the Season 1 two-parter, Aliens of London and World War III. Now, I don't think these two episodes are really good. The plot is drawn out over 2 episodes, there's too many clunky or just stupid scenes, like the Slitheen farting. Arguably, the action of the episode is just people talking in rooms or old CGI. The plot itself is not very strong, but Russell T Davies is a good writer. We have elements that redeem the weak plot. We have a story. We get to see firsthand the consequences of time travel on Rose's family in the B-plot. So while the solution of shooting a missile at 10 Downing Street isn't clever or have any real stakes, let's be real, the Doctor and Rose were not about to die here. However, when Jackie asks if her daughter will be safe with the Doctor, there are actual character consequences.
Because I can't guarantee your daughter will be safe.
Don't you dare. Whatever it is, don't you dare.
These, in reality, are the stakes. These consequences impact the season, its themes, and the character's growth that will be carried all the way into the finale. The Doctor grows an unseen respect for Ricky.
You could look after her. Come with us.
I can't.
Jackie is mistrustful of the Doctor,
What if something happens to you, Doctor, and she's left all alone, standing on some moon a million light years away?
and Rose is selfless. Harriet Jones, member for Flydale North, is a respectable side character, with her own motivations and growth.
Contact the UN immediately. Tell the ambassadors the crisis is over. They can step down.
These are redeeming qualities of a poor plot. They aren't super on the nose, and they engage the audience. In contrast, Eve of the Daleks has 1.5 scenes where Dan suggests that Yaz and the Doctor, two characters who have had awful chemistry, should like maybe get it on, you know, roll in the hay. Neither of them learn anything new from the situation they've been put in. Dan provides an attempt at relating previous experiences that could inform these characters' decisions.
Have you ever told her
Told her what?
how you feel about her?
But it's mostly lip service. Additionally, the Doctor continues to be distant.
When you said your actions were catching up with you.
Nothing. I don't remember.
Which is a staple of Chibnall's era and the only whiff of complexity in the companion dynamic. Which it isn't because it never changes, it's timeless. A timeless child, you could say, oh, here we go, I'm done, let's move on. Is bad. Well, not just bad, awful. It's flawed in a manner that extends into every other element of the show. Oh, really? Okay, fine. I guess we're not finished with Chibnall's writing. Time loops are a fantastic narrative device. You can have time loops from Groundhog Day that allow the character to learn something new about themselves. Time loops like in Community. Well, it's more timelines, but semantics. It serves a similar narrative purpose, which is to allow the audience to learn something new about the established characters. You can use time loops as puzzles, like Edge of Tomorrow or Happy Death Day, or video games like Outer Wilds and Deathloop. What I'm saying is time loops can be used in many ways to effectively achieve different goals. So how did Chibnall choose to utilize this narrative device to tell his story and impact his characters? Well, he didn't! At first it seems like we're doing Groundhog Day, as that's what Dan explicitly states.
Groundhog Day.
But there's a limited number of loops, and you don't get the enjoyment of the Doctor and gang experiencing and perfecting the exact same thing over and over, because, Chibnall didn't write it like that. Thus it seems it is more a puzzle loop, except that there aren't any tangible challenges. In the end, they get out as they came up with a plan and executed the plan perfectly. The plan didn't particularly incorporate aspects they found during the loops, or practice. Furthermore, there's very little narrative reason to include a time loop here. Nick and Sarah's plot relied on near-death experiences, not actually dying, or using the mechanics of a time loop to impact those characters. There isn't any growth between the companions and Doctor, so it's mostly redundant discussing how a time loop impacted these characters when they are rarely impacted anyway. Consequently, with no puzzle to solve, no character growth that required a time loop, I conclude it was extraordinarily inessential that a time loop was included in this episode. Furthermore, if you would like good examples of a little-known British sci-fi TV show doing time loops, well, check out Doctor Who. When, I don't know, Riversong was trapped, or Heaven Sent, one of the greatest episodes of the show I talked about in a previous Doctor Who video. Okay, conclusion. Is bad. Well, not just bad, awful. No, I'm kidding. Well, not about the bad writing, but it's actually time for the conclusion. It would be a miss not to include this one gem from the watch party. It perfectly summarizes everything wrong with this episode and the whole Chibnall era. Really, this is the perfect metaphor for a Chibnall episode. Making 10 minutes of anything feel like 15 minutes. That'll make the video to be kept. Because despite having a gimmick and interesting premise, he can't help but fail to include any substance. So, there we are. Go watch Russian Doll Season 2. That show is honestly just killing it. Also, Russian Doll is totally able to deliver semi-limited budget time travel antics with actual characters who have trauma and goals. It uses music with taste and theme. It surprises you with interesting narrative devices and story twists. Best of all, it doesn't waste your time. Nadia may be in a time loop, however, Russian Doll still moves you forward, unlike Chibnall's Doctor Who. No. I don't think so. Not in a million years. Did you hear me? Be gone!
Don't forget to click below to subscribe.